I'm not going to call you the third part of the show. Now, doesn't it look like we've made a mistake? We haven't. This is the slide that's up there at the beginning when we do our awarenesses so that you silence your cell phone, right? It's a good custom. Last Sunday, Barbara had her cell phone here, and she silenced it just like she's supposed to. I was in Denver. I was at the Denver Center for Spiritual Living, and I was with Deidre Johnson, who was a practitioner from Atlanta. And as before we went in, she said, "I'm going to silence my cell phone." I said, "Well, I'll do the same." We did. We had a great time. It was a wonderful day. Afterwards, we had meetings that she and I went to, and we were very involved the rest of the day. And once it was over, the first thing I always want to do when meetings are over is call my wife. However, she was at her grandson's 13th birthday party. So I knew she was going to get hard to get a hold of, but I thought I'd send her a signal. So I called our grandson, and I wished him a happy birthday on the phone. I could hear Barbara in the background. I said, "She'll call me." And I waited. No call. So it got to be pretty late, and I thought, she's got to be getting home. So I called her number again. There was no answer. So I called her son, and I said, "Tell your mother to go home so I can talk to her." He said, "She's not here." "What do you mean she's not there?" "Well, it seems that Aiden's mother has the flu. And she's a pediatrician, of course she has the flu." And that Barbara got to the door and said, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." And she gave them Aiden's gift and she left. "Well, where's Barbara? She's not answering her phone." So I called Nancy Walton. I said, "Nancy, I can't find Barbara. Will you please go over to the house and see if she's okay?" So Nancy, wonderful, wonderful Nancy, got in her car. Hey, this was after 9 o'clock. Came over to the house, banging on the door. Barbara is sound asleep, comes to the door and goes, "What?" "Your husband's looking for you." So it was the Academy Awards were on Sunday night, right? So I'm going to wait for Barbara to call. I'm sitting in my hotel room watching the Academy Awards, waiting. And finally I picked up my phone and I looked at it, and she called 3 times. My silencer was off. And so was hers. So from now on Sunday mornings, this will be another message you will get. Because I'm not going through that again. Somewhere toward the end, we'll see this one again, okay? All right. Hello. Barbara said Margaret's had her phone off for 3 days after coming to the center on Sunday. All right, so this is our attempt to help. All right, very good. So this is our topic for today is good. Pretty benign topic, right? Can't get hurt here. I got to tell you, I've struggled with this word for decades. Decades. My first spiritual teacher had a background in Zen Buddhism and Scientology, but I'm talking about the Zen Buddhism today. And one of the things that comes out of that is this idea that there is no right or wrong, there only is. You know, it's really cool because good and bad, right and wrong, those are judgments. We don't go there. So then I leave Australia and I come to the United States, and within days I find the Science of Mind and Barbara. It didn't take very long at all for me to learn the basic premise that was taught by the founder, Ernest Holmes. He spoke it all the time. He said it at the beginning of his radio shows. He said it at the beginning of most of his talks within the first couple of minutes. Sometimes it was the first word out of his mouth. This is what he said. He said, "There is a power for good in the universe, greater than you are, and you can use it." So immediately, as much as I'm loving the Science of Mind thing, I'm going, not really. There's a power in the universe. You know, I just left the good thing out. There's a power in the universe greater than you are. I can go with it's greater than us individually because it is the essence of all. And you can use it. Well, I think you use it whether you think you can or not. Anyway, The thing about good, really, I just dismissed it and said, we're not going to go to good because good implies bad. And to explain that, I always go to the Shakespeare quote, which I will share with you this morning, where William Shakespeare said, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison. Since nothing is really good or bad in itself, it's all what a person thinks about it. Now that's great wisdom, right? You got to avoid this good and bad thing. And I've been holding on to that in this Buddhist angle for decades. But what I discovered in the midst of all that is, I use the word good all the time. How do you use the English language and not use the word good? It's weird. So I know I have my issues with sorry. All of you know about that. I'm sticking with that one. But this thing I've had going on with good has gotten old. It's not working for me anymore. And yeah, I know. Because what I'm discovering is that you really can't have good without bad. And then something happened about a decade ago, about 10 years ago. A book came out. It was actually 2001 when it came out, but I didn't find out about it until later. And it's called Good to Great. This takes us in a totally different direction. And I don't want to deny the value of Jim Collins' work in Good to Great and the 3 million copies that were sold, more than that, best-selling book for many years, and the work that he did that helps American business move forward. No worries. This is all wonderful stuff. However, good to great in many people's minds goes, well, good apparently isn't good enough. Good in that model is kind of mediocre. It's kind of average, good. And that you should shoot always for great. And if you stick with that long enough, what actually happens is good becomes bad. No. That's not working for me anymore either. So even given Collins all his credit for that, I brought you a picture of the book so you'd see. Most of you probably have that on your shelf somewhere, because most people do. If you never heard of it, it's a good book. So my intention somewhere was to get away from good. It hasn't worked. I continue to say the word good, and these are some of the words that come out of my mouth. Good for you. Good job. Good timing. Good thinking. That's a good thing. And the list goes on and on forever. And rightly so, because it's a good word. I pulled up some synonyms for good this morning, just so I could give you an idea of the breadth of this idea. Listen to this. Synonyms for good include healthy, fine, fit, robust, sturdy, strong, valued, reliable, agreeable, pleasing, excellent, superb, outstanding, magnificent, exceptional, suitable, appropriate, fitting, marvelous, wonderful, acceptable, favorable, respectable, honorable, terrific, fantastic, fabulous, awesome, brilliant, skillful, talented, my favorite, delicious, valid, genuine, authentic, desirable, and compelling. These are just a few of the synonyms of good. So good's a valid word in our lexicon. It's also a very big word. It can speak to something that is extraordinarily magnificent when we speak of good, especially when you move into the essence of the divine with this word. Rocco Errico came here one time years ago, and he spoke to this. And he said that an early Christian missionary went up into Germany to teach the gospel. And that when someone would ask him, what is the name of this deity that you have? He would say, Gut, which means good. And in Old English, when I did my research on the roots of the word good, the first spelling in Old English was G-O-D. So if we are going to have this word around, let's define it as the presence of God. If something's good, then God must be present. When is God present? Always. Where is God present? Everywhere. So everything must be, oh, good. Everything must be good. The thing is, in our life, though, we can't always see that. We can't always see the good. Sometimes we see the problem. I had an experience last night where one of my colleagues called me. She's been married 26 years. She called me to tell me that her husband left. And I said, well, that's bad. And she said, not so fast. She was right. She was right. Why do we slam a good or a bad on everything if everything's good? Everything's good. So go ahead and say it. It's good. Everything's good. Yeah, that's a good word. It's a good word for us to use because it means that God is present in this thing. It's good. Well, aren't there things, though, that we just can't do that around? You know, I mean, we can go to the health thing and say if you've got a disease, how do you say that's good? My experience in working with people who are moving through some kind of a health issue tell me that that's one of the most important things that's ever happened to them because it woke them up and got them to act on their life and to engage their life. And it kind of called forth this idea of only having this body for a while. We're not all going to keep these bodies forever, so we better use them. Sometimes we forget that. And that's one of the things that disease will do for you. It'll wake you up and tell you it's time to be present. Boy, we went and saw Naima yesterday. She's gone through some hard stuff the last few weeks. She's had a couple of surgeries, and it hasn't been pleasant. But that woman's sitting up in her bed with her eyes sparkling. She is so alive. Yay. She is so ready to go home on Tuesday. Yeah. A week from Tuesday, right. But she's there. I mean, she has used this to make her life better. That's because she found good in it. So can we find good in everything? Well, we had an interesting thing happen here at the center a couple of weeks ago. You know the treatment for freedom that we do every Sunday? Remember when we changed it? We took a line out. And the line we took out, it's not hard for me to remember because I still throw it in almost regularly because I just haven't bridged this thing yet. And now I got to say it. I know that our mortgages are paid in full. We took that out. We've been saying it for a couple of years. And how you doing? Well, we paid off a lot on our mortgages in the last year, but we're still over $500,000 of mortgage. And this idea that we're going to pay it off seemed how does that happen? Well, a couple of weeks ago, Barbara and Nancy were working on the financials. It was more than a couple of weeks because it was before the board meeting. And Barbara said the amortization schedule that we have only goes through August. Will you call the bank and get the full one? And so Nancy called the bank. She came back into Barbara and said, they said that the loan only goes till August. Excuse me? In what? A balloon? I hate balloons. The pretty ones that we had here were nice, but I'm talking about mortgage balloons. This idea that all of a sudden you owe it all in August? That's bad, right? At least that's the way we initially received that news. We met with the bankers. I was belligerent because we didn't want a balloon, and they put one on it. So I'm telling, I said, so this is real, a balloon, right? We can't continue. We got to start over, right? We got to go back to paying heavy interest, right? And she, yeah. I looked at Barbara and said, we're shopping this thing. So while I was away, Barbara got in touch with Kim McCurdy-Ross, who you would think is a dancer, and she is a very good dancer. But she's also a very experienced, masterful mortgage lender through a big institution when she lived in Northern California. So Barbara called and said, could you help us figure this out? Well, Kim with a mortgage is like a dog with a bone. She's been working it and working it and working it. And we don't have our final thing. We're going to meet with the board on Tuesday morning here, but what we're going to be talking about is our mortgage payments monthly going from $10,000 to more like under $4,000. We're going to be paying more interest, actually more principal than we're paying now. That's what it is. or principal. And that means that we can take all that different money and put it on principal. And we're going to have this thing paid off in just a few years. This is not done. Yeah, that's good stuff. But here's the thing. In Barbara's office, she's got our 3 mortgages. Let me explain why we have 3. We bought about 4 acres. We built this building and the one next to us. And then we found out that the property next door was available for sale, another 2 acres. So we borrowed money and we bought that land. And then we put our youth and family and educational center on that land. So the land is our second mortgage. And the building, the third building, is our third mortgage. That's why we have 3. But it seems that with what Kim's doing, we're going to wrap those into one. But we've got 3 mortgages, and Barbara printed out the mortgage statement and whited out the balance and printed on it paid in full. So sometime between now and August, those 3 mortgages will likely be paid in full. Where this started was we were in that meeting. Actually, we were in a meeting talking about what we were going to do about this before we met with the people from the bank. And I looked at Barbara and I said, something good is going to come from this.
Yes.
And it was not a happy day. We had not figured anything out. But I said those words, something good is going to come from this. And with this thing that is happening, this good thing, we know now that we will have our mortgages paid off very quickly. We had the idea of it before, but now we have an actual plan. So use that line in your life. When you don't know what is coming, how it's going to work out, it's over your head, it seems bigger than life, say these words. Something good is going to come from this. Say that with me.
Something good is going to come from this.
And when you do, you'll be declaring the truth of the divine. You'll be finding God in the midst of whatever it is and allow that to come forward to you so you can go, well, I get it. So this week, how many of you are actually reading the 365 book of Charles? Yeah, Poems and Barker. A few of you are reading that. Excellent book. There's a few copies in there. I had a real winner this week, and I want to read this with you. I think we're about ready for new batteries in this. Go to the next slide, please. Stay with me, Pat. There we go. It's big, but we're going to read this together, and it's worth it. Do this with me. Today I know my good is at hand. I see this good in every person, place, and thing. Only good can go from me, and only good can return to me. Goodness is my experience. My whole inner being responds to this good, recognizing it everywhere, feeling it everywhere, seeing it everywhere. I am enveloped in it, and even as I draw this good to me and become saturated with it, it flows out in every direction, blessing everything it touches, bringing wholeness and happiness to everyone. I awaken to every new day in joy. I rest in the eternal goodness, and evermore there's a song in my heart as it flows with the acknowledgement of good. Isn't that great? That's what we live for. That's who we are. So, have a good life. It's all good. It's all God. I love you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Our welcomers have come forward. Who's here for the very first time? Who decided to come to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. What are your names?
Joan and Justin.
Joan and Justin, welcome. And what is your name? Yay! Welcome. And what is your name?
We're Mars and Danielle.
Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I want you to know that when you come to this center or any center, when you come to any center that holds an energy and clarity of consciousness that everything is possible, that you are completely loved, that you are rich beyond your wildest dreams, and health and wholeness is your natural state, things happen to you. So I just want to, I don't want to forewarn you, I want to psych you up. That being in this kind of energy changes your life. Because when you come with other like-minded people, we start to vibrate at a different level, open to different ideas, and those manifest as different experiences in our lives. So welcome. Welcome to the rest of your life of health and wholeness, happiness and joy. I'm so glad that you came to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville today. And now I'd like to invite our prosperity acceptors to come forward. And again, I just want to mention that one of the things that I learned long ago with supporting nonprofits is the idea of leveraging your money. And that is that when you give something greater than the amount that you give happens. And I want you to know that when you put money in these baskets, or you give money through PayPal or the credit cards or the donation station in the social hall, that your money is being leveraged by this center and through our website to go all around the world and to touch the hearts and lives of millions of people, to change countries and to change this world. So I want to thank you for supporting this center, but I also want you to know that you are doing something greater than these four walls. As great as these four walls are, we are reaching out and changing the world. Thank you for that. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for the way you support this center. And thank you, all of you who are listening, for going to the Donate Now button and supporting this work so that the world can live in a better way. I'm so grateful for all that we are and all that we give. And now I take my gift, put it on my hand, and bring it close to my heart. And I know that God is the source of all supply. I know that money is God in action. Money is a divine idea in the mind of God. And I know that as we give, we receive. And so I know that we are all blessed. And I know that this gift goes forth and changes the hearts and lives of thousands and millions of people that we'll never know, but somehow our lives have intersected into more joy, more peace, more prosperity, more health, more happiness. And I am so grateful to be a part of this eternal flow. And I know that each one of us comes together this day to make this center all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And we'll repeat our investment affirmation together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is.
The gift is unsealed.
Thank you. And I know that everything in these baskets is blessed, because anytime we give anything, that which we are goes with our giving. It goes with our gift. There's only one. So I see it as light, golden light pouring forth from each one of us as we gave, whether we gave in through these baskets, over the internet, once a month or once a year. Whenever we give, that light pours forth through us. And so I see it filling up this room from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. This air is rich and blessed with God as us. And as Spirit moves in our lives, things happen. So right here and right now, each one of us is touched. We are blessed and we are healed. And that energy then must go out from these great walls to touch and bless and heal every being on this planet, awakening us all to who we have come here to be, and then shooting out from this planet to continue to touch and bless and heal everything that is and beyond. I know that this is always blessing each and every one of us here today, everyone who has ever been here, and everyone yet to come. And so it is.
So we've got kids coming in. We have a lot of kids, and we have no cameras in the room. Will you please take a picture of these kids and put it on Facebook so I can have a copy? Thank you.